Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I really had to think about that for a minute. So I gotta sit there and say I did enjoy this episode. I really enjoyed this episode. I couldn't wait for this episode. I couldn't wait for Lucas to finally be exposed, and it happened. And the thing that was kind of weird about it was when Chad came in there, and Chad was like, "Hey, listen, you killed my wife, and because she found out that you kidnapped Sammy, everyone's not there." Like, yo, discreet talking. Sammy's not there just defending Lucas. Okay? She's defending Lucas. She's not even like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" She's literally like, "No, he can never do that, something like that. It was EJ, and I can't hate your brother, and blah, 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 blah." So Chad continues to go in. Okay? Continues to go in. After a while, he goes in, and Lucas is like, "Okay, yeah, I did it. And I don't feel bad about it," or something like that. So I'm like, at this point, he literally just said that he did it. And Sammy is still defending him. And I'm like, did this chick not just hear that? Now, I kind of got a back copy, so maybe he could have just took it back and said it like it was a joke or whatever. But she goes on and on and on defending him. And finally, you know, he admits it. After Chad just kept grilling him, he admits it. So now at this point, I don't think that Lucas really understood the gravity of the situation that he put Sammy in. I'm gonna be, well, I've already said this before, but I'm not exactly a fan of Sammy. Okay? I'm not. Wrong. Um, uh, sounds so bad. That girl definitely knows how to make a wedding dress look really good. I mean, I said this a while ago that I really can't understand what all these men are sitting there seeing in Sammy or whatever. And I remember looking at a picture back of like the '90s or '80s or whatever. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, wow. '90s, '80s, Sammy. Okay, I can. That's it. But honestly, tell you the truth, when you're looking at her in that dress, I was like, damn, this girl. I mean, she has a mouth on her, and sometimes she could be hella irritating, but she looks good. She looks good, and the thing is, I don't say that about most celebrities, most soap opera actresses and stuff like that. Normally don't, because they normally are just like pretty and like a nice little painting or whatever. But there's pretty and then there's hot. Yeah, let's just keep that in mind. And as much as Sammy irritates the living life out of me at times, um, yeah, she does. She does look hot. All right, she does. Um, but when she explained to everyone in that room the stuff that she was thinking about, missing her kids, thinking about her parents, thinking that she was dead, all of that, you know, and just sitting there thinking, why laid in bed crying myself to sleep? You just sitting pretty in your nice little cozy bed, and she was sitting there like, how could you continue to talk to my parents like everything was cool while I was away? Then realized that she partly freed herself when she got that phone because it was a part of the plan. And she even said to him, like, yo, would I still be here if I didn't find that phone? If I didn't speed up the timeline? Now, of course, Lucas tries to justify his reasons. I love you. I did this for us. And, when you're trying to justify something like that, trying to justify something horrible is pretty amazing because it's like your mind does backflips. Okay, it starts going in places, it starts moving at a speed that you didn't even think it could move. You're desperate, that thing can move. And I gotta sit there and say, when she was sitting there telling her story and her experience and everything like that, I genuinely felt bad for her. And I don't even like her half of the time. And I felt bad for Sammy. Johnny wanted to sit there and rip his head off. Allie was all in shock. And I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, at the end of this, Allie, you do realize that you owe Johnny a huge apology, right? Like you are aware of this, right? Like you are aware of that. And I'm not gonna go too much on Allie because, well, I could, but I'm just not going to. But after that, they escort him to the police station, and he goes in the room. Kate tries to defend Lucas, and towards the end of it, Chad is like, "All right, before Rafe gets here, before everyone gets here, I want to hear it. I want to hear you sit there and say it." And Lucas keeps claiming that I didn't do it because, um, like that's my niece and everything like that. And the church, everyone in there are just shocked. They're shocked. They're sad. Well, I mean, like Roman and Marlena, and Kate too, because probably sad about hearing Sammy's experience, and also what's coming ahead for Lucas. And it's his second son so far that how many kids does she actually have, by the way? I know it's Philip, it's Lucas. Does she have a daughter or anything like that, or another son? So after Sammy's not there talking to Marlena, she leaves. Now, during this whole thing, this whole church and everything like that, you got EJ and Bella just kind of drinking, and EJ more or less is, drowning in his sorrows and everything like that. Um, Listening to Bella talk about her experience with Jan Spears, the fight, and the fact that you know she doesn't think it's fair to the baby to sit there and try to raise that child with Sean, knowing that she has resentment because of Jan Spears. So she told EJ, she was like, I don't know if I can actually be with Sean. Like when she told Sean. Um, so they're both sitting there day drinking and just chilling or whatever, and one thing leads to the next. And of course, they had sex. Then they had sex again. Now, when they were sitting there wondering where Sammy was going to go, and when Sammy was sitting there talking to Marlena about, the one person that kept telling me I didn't listen. He kept telling me. And no matter how many times I kept trying to shut him down, he kept telling me. EJ. And I'm honestly tell you the truth, now I'm sitting there thinking about I'm surprised that Marlena's didn't sit there and think that she was gonna run right towards EJ. It's like I don't know where he went. Really? Nobody here knows where she went. After this epic love between her and EJ, you didn't sit there and think, gee, I wonder where she would go. Really? I just whatever. So of course she goes to EJ and she's knocking on the door and everything like that, and they hear her. They hear her because EJ's like, oh man, this day, and it started off crappy, but it ended so much more better, and it's just such a perfect, good day at this point. Like nothing can go wrong. The minute you heard Sammy's voice, it was almost like he wanted to sit there and say, that's literally how his head was sitting there thinking. So Bella decides to hide somewhere, and Sammy is like pounding on the door like she's just not gonna go away. I'm like, so he answers the door. She walks on in there. She finds a bra, and she's just like, "Who's this?" And I'm like, Why does it matter? You was just married to Lucas. Like, why do you care whose bra it is? I mean, seriously, why do you care? Why does that matter? Why is that important? Why is that important? Shouldn't you be sitting there, I don't know, apologizing, saying that you're right, something along those lines? It seemed like you it's like you saw something else and you just forgot the whole reason why you're there. Um, Now at some point she was gonna find out that Bella wound up sleeping with EJ, and she's gonna be all mad and angry and hurt and jealous, and I really want to know who is actually going to be sympathetic towards Sammy at this point. I mean, as far as the EJ thing is concerned. If you are, just tell me and please tell me why, because I genuinely want to know. Um, Oddly, I feel like that's about it for the most part, at least the important stuff. Um, and I think it's mostly just because this episode focused more on the wedding and EJ and Bella. You know, so as I'm sneaking looking on notes, I'm just like, why is there not that much notes? I'm usually practically writing a book sometimes, more on GH, but I've been known to do like maybe a page and a half. But otherwise, yeah, I think that's about it. So it was actually a really good episode, but of course it was going to be a good episode because Lucas was exposed, and it was done in such an epic and heartbreaking way that it was definitely worth watching this episode. So with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.